Dexter Morgan spent over 20 years killing without getting caught. He had a bag, a lab, a boat, and a detailed set of rules. And those rules kept him free across 8 full seasons plus a revival. Now drop him into The Boys Season 5, a world where the most powerful man alive has X-ray vision, super hearing that can detect fear through a racing heartbeat, and the entire United States government under his thumb. A world where Vought monitors social media around the clock to find people who oppose them and throws anyone suspicious into internment camps called freedom camps. A world where there is no police department to hide inside because the police answer to a soup. This is not a regular crossover question. This is a stress test. We're taking every tool Dexter used to survive and running it against everything Season 5 of The Boys has actually shown on screen. No guessing, no made-up powers, nothing that has not been shown in the show itself. Let us find out exactly how long Dexter Morgan lasted. Dexter's kill room was built around the idea that sealed environments contain the evidence. In The Boys Season 5, the most dangerous person in that world can see through any wall, any plastic sheet, and any door without stepping inside. Dexter's process is the exact same every time. Plastic sheeting, victim on a table, blood slide, then disposal. The plastic is the whole point. It contains blood, traps evidence, and makes the room look like nothing from the outside. Homelander's X-ray vision lets him see through any solid material except zinc. The show used this on a van in Season 1 to check what Frenchie was hiding, and used it again on Butcher in Season 4 to spot his brain tumor through his skull. He also has superhuman hearing, shown repeatedly picking up conversations and signs of distress from extreme distances. On top of that, the show has confirmed his sense of smell is sharp enough to detect the adrenaline your body releases when you're frightened. That last one matters specifically for Dexter because the one person inside a kill room absolutely flooding with fear is the victim strapped to the table. Dexter's kill room works against human investigators because humans need a reason to enter and something visible to find. Homelander needs none of that. The danger is not that he's constantly scanning every building in the country at all times. The show makes it clear that he's emotional, distracted, and inconsistent. The real problem is that a single moment of attention from someone with those abilities destroys the kind of secrecy Dexter depends on. If Homelander ever looks directly at Dexter's location, the plastic sheeting becomes completely useless. It keeps the blood in. It does nothing about a person outside who can see straight through it. And a terrified victim producing fear chemicals in a sealed room is a signal no plastic wrap contained. Dexter's biggest advantage, controlling the physical space, falls apart in a world where one person with the wrong kind of attention can see and smell through every layer of his setup. If you enjoy testing fictional characters against the actual rules of the world they would enter, subscribe right now because we're just getting started, and the next few sections get significantly worse for Dexter. The kill room is only one problem. Even if Dexter somehow avoided being spotted mid-kill, the world he's operating in has a second layer of risk aimed at exactly the kind of person Dexter is. Dexter's survival always depended on not drawing attention. Season 5 portrays an America where Vought actively monitors online activity for signs of dissent, and Dexter's research behavior would make him visible inside that system. Season 5 Episode 1 shows Vought monitoring social media to identify Starlighter, anyone expressing support for Starlight or opposition to Homelander. Suspected Starlighters get picked up by a suit-powered teenage Kicks member, filmed, and sent to freedom camps. The system is already looking for unusual behavior from regular people. Now, apply that to Dexter. His entire process involves research before every kill, checking court record, news reports, and public information on murderers who escape justice. In Season 5's America, those searches happen inside a system that Vought appears to be watching. A person repeatedly searching specific criminals, checking their locations, and mapping their routines, while those same people then quietly disappear, creates a pattern that draws attention. Vought's monitoring is aimed at political dissent, but a string of disappearances disrupt the public order the regime depends on, and the trail leads back to whoever was searching those names. Beyond online searches, Dexter uses his own phone and his own car. In Season 7 of the original show, LaGuerta obtained warrants, placing Dexter near a murder scene using standard legal channels inside a functioning system. Season 5's America suggests Vought operates without those kinds of restrictions. They're already pulling data without waiting for a judge to approve it. Dexter stays invisible inside a normal system because the system has rules about what people can access and when. Season 5's America suggests those rules are gone. Dexter's research behavior becomes far riskier in a system where Vought actively monitors unusual online activity. The code requires him to research every target before moving. That research, in this world, leaves a trail inside a network that is already watching for people who are doing things they should not be doing. Dexter cannot research his kills without taking on significantly more risk inside a system where online behavior is already being used to identify and detain regular people. That is the research layer. But there is also what happens when Dexter stops researching and starts moving. Dexter's body disposal required real freedom of movement, marinas, boats, open water at night. Season 5's America is a country where that kind of quiet, unmonitored movement has become far more dangerous. Season 5 portrays freedom camps and regime-run detention holding political prisoners, with soup guards enforcing the perimeter. The premiere shows Homelander controlling the puppet government, former independent agencies shut down, and their staff detained. Teenage Kicks members are shown patrolling civilian areas and filming what they find. The regime has soup assets operating openly across the country. Dexter's disposal method in the original show involved driving to a marina at night, loading a body onto his boat, and taking it out into the Gulf Stream. That chain of movement, car, marina, open water, now passes through spaces where soups operate. Homelander's hearing picks up distress across extreme distances. His vision is shown working at range with telescopic ability. A boat moving at night, carrying the weight of 2 people, one of them dead and wrapped, is not automatically invisible to someone airborne with those senses, especially if they happen to be in rain. The original show worked partly because Miami at night has genuinely quiet spots. Marinas at 2 in the morning are empty and unmonitored. Quiet spaces still exist in Season 5's world. The show repeatedly depicts safe houses and hidden resistance activities surviving, but they are significantly harder to use in a country where soup patrols can bypass the physical barriers and empty streets that used to make those spaces safe. Harry built the code for a world where the danger was detectives and paperwork. He never planned disposal routes for a world where the person who might notice you is flying overhead. Dexter's disposal chain has real weak points in Season 5's America. The Gulf Stream route that worked for 18 bodies in the original show runs through open water under a sky where the rules have been completely changed. The movement problem is serious, but neither that nor the surveillance issue is actually the fastest thing that ends Dexter here. That comes from a direction the code was never designed to handle at all. The code requires Dexter to only kill murderers who escape justice. In Season 5's America, a meaningful number of those people now work directly under Homelander, and removing them becomes a response no Miami detective ever could. Season 5 shows Homelander assembling an army of soup supporters. Teenage Kicks are soups who were previously dropped from teams and are now active regime enforcers. The show depicts Homelander pardoning Soldier Boy, a known multiple murderer, for past crimes in exchange for his loyalty and service. Malchemical and Mr. Marathon are also shown operating within Homelander's circle. Dexter's code targets people who killed and beat the legal system. In Season 5's America, the legal system is gone. People who would have faced prosecution are being handled pardons and given roles inside the regime. When one of them goes missing, the response is not a detective filing paperwork. The show makes it clear that Homelander handles threats personally, and he can hear your heartbeat from across the room, smell your fear, and see through the walls of whatever building you're hiding in. He has killed people in public and walked away clean because no one left alive is in position to stop him. The code was built to work inside a gap, the space where the law had failed and Dexter could step in. In Season 5's America, the law has not just failed, it has been replaced by something that employs the exact people Dexter would hunt. Dexter would almost certainly adapt his approach once he understood the scale of what he was dealing with. He changed methods repeatedly across the original show, but even adapted methods run into the same wall. The moment he removes a regime-connected target, the response coming towards him has abilities and freedom that no amount of planning through the code can account for. Harriet never wrote a rule for what happens when the person you just killed reported to someone who burns through a wall. Dexter's victim pool in Season 5 is partly made up of people protected directly by Homeland. The code works inside a broken legal system. It does not work inside a soup-controlled one. Drop your answers in the comments right now. Which single rule from the code of Harry do you think survives the longest in The Boys Season 5 world? Because the next section shows why even the answer you're thinking of has a serious problem. That is, the code is broken at its foundation. But there is one more layer the original show has always leaned on to keep Dexter alive: witnesses. And in Season 5, that problem becomes something else entirely. In the original show, Dexter managed witnesses by removing them before they could talk. In Season 5's world, the people most likely to expose him are either physically beyond what he can handle, or they're already connected to a system that is actively rewarding people for turning others in. The original Dexter ran on one pattern. Everyone who learned the truth either died or stayed quiet. Dokes was framed and killed. Lila was tracked to Paris and killed. LaGuerta was shot by Deborah. The pattern worked because every one of those witnesses was human. Season 5 depicts an America where civilians are encouraged to report suspected opponents of Homelander to regime enforcers. Teenage kicks make content out of their arrest. The show portrays a society where turning in your neighbors is treated as normal. Dexter running a kill operation inside a residential area is running it inside a neighborhood where some residents are already looking for reasons to flag unusual activity to people with power. The soups Dexter would run into are a different problem from anything in the original show. Compound V introduces real biological unpredictability that makes Dexter's normal methods far less reliable. M99, the sedative he uses to subdue every target, was designed for human. The show repeatedly depicts soups surviving damage and physical trauma that would kill a regular person. Whether M99 works on any given soup depends on their specific biology, and Dexter has no way to know that in advance. His entire process depends on controlling a target before the kill. That control becomes genuinely uncertain the moment his target is not fully human. Dexter's witness management worked because his witnesses were people he could outmaneuver and physically stop. In Season 5, potential witnesses include people who are connected to Vought's reporting system and soups who may simply not go down the way a human would. The Code of Harry was built on the idea that Dexter could always be the most dangerous person in the room. Season 5 puts him in a world where that assumption regularly fails. Not because Dexter gets worse, but because the world around him changes in ways the Code never planned for. The witness problem was already a reoccurring near miss across 8 seasons of the original show. In Season 5, it becomes unmanageable. Dexter cannot remove witnesses who are physically unpredictable, and he cannot stay quiet inside a society that has been built around encouraging people to report exactly that kind of unusual behavior he produces. Dexter Morgan was built for a specific world, a world with legal rules, human investigators, and a victim pool made up of people who have beaten a functioning court system. The Code of Harry is detailed and disciplined, but it was written from the ground up for a world where the most dangerous person coming after you is a detective with a warrant. Season 5 of The Boys does not have that warrant. Season 5's America shows Homelander in control, a person who can see through walls, hear distress from extreme distance, smell fear, and face no consequences for anything he does. It shows Vought monitoring online activity for dissent. It shows regime-run detention and soup enforcers operating across the country. It shows a pardon system actively protecting the exact people the code was designed to stop. And it shows a civilian population that has been shaped to report anything that looks wrong. Every one of Dexter's advantages runs into this world and weakens. The kill room loses its meaning if the wrong person ever looks at it directly. The research creates a trail inside a system that is already watching. The disposal routes pass through a country where normal quiet space carried new risk. The victim pool has regime-protected targets inside it. The witness management relies on methods that were built for humans. In Miami, with the FBI involved and a sharp profiler narrowing the suspect pool, Dexter needed Doak's frame, a cabin burn, and the lead investigator removed just to survive one season. That is 3 separate pieces of luck inside a system that still had rules. Season 5's world does not hand that out. There is no independent FBI to slow things down. There is no judge reviewing a warrant. There is Homelander, and there is everyone else. Dexter would adapt. He has always adapted in the original show. He changed routines, changed location, changed his approach when the heat came close. But the long-term survival odds collapse in Season 5's America because the environment chips away at the exact things the code depends on, one by one, until there is nothing left to stand on. The code survived in the original show because the writers put it inside a world it was built for. In Season 5, that world is gone. Dexter's long-term survival in Season 5's America is not viable. Every structural advantage the code gave him gets worn down by a world where physical barriers mean less. Online behavior is watched, the victim pool includes protected targets, and the most dangerous entity around operates without any of the rules the code was designed to exploit. The plastic holds the blood in. It was never built to hold a world like this one. If this made you rethink how much of Dexter's survival came from the code versus the writers protecting it, subscribe, hit the bell, and drop your answers in the comments. Which rule from the code survives longest in The Boys universe?